What's up, everybody? This is Battlefield Joe 97 here. I got the Opie t-shirt on me right now because I'm going to be talking about some anime reviews that I saw over the course of last month and I think maybe earlier this month in order to kick off the new year for the Thoughts and Feels of movie series that I talk about movies that were currently brand new in the theater. And since most of these movies that I'm talking about are currently not in the theater or probably are, but you have to check Fandango.com to see in your local theater, this is mainly going to be short reviews, condensing my thoughts, overall thoughts out of each of these movies. And if you're a fan of these particular franchises, you probably want to get the Blu-ray, DVD, or digital HD release when it comes out. So overall, here are these 4 anime reviews. First review is going to be talking about One Piece Film Gold, a movie that I got the chance to see twice during its 1-week limited theatrical run that Funimation Films had across the country, which of course I've seen twice, first being alone and of course with co-workers the following days after the first viewing, and which of course was in AMC Empire 25 in Times Square. So it was really cool to see a One Piece film on the big screen in Times Square, and it really was a great time to see the movie because One Piece Film Gold was definitely a spectacular viewing if you're a One Piece fan, and definitely it really did feel like a theatrical experience from the way that the movie, there's no false advertisement for the movie itself. Like when it says gold, it literally is gold. Like the main villain, Tensoro, who has the gold fruit, basically turns anything to gold and controls anything that is gold. So basically, Tensoro, the main villain, is basically a combination of Crocodile from the Alabasta arc and Doflamingo from the Dressrosa arc, which of course, the plot of One Piece Film Gold is basically sort of an alternate reality or timeline or condensed version of the Dressrosa arc, where basically the Straw Hat crew go into uncharted territories where basically it's not what it seems, but at least in the film is not as a surprise compared to, say, the Dressrosa arc in the One Piece manga and anime. And definitely it was really cool to listen to the English dub that Funimation provided for One Piece Film Gold, and it definitely reassured that Funimation has done a fantastic job with the One Piece brand itself, and it really was a great time to see the film twice with myself and with my co-workers who love One Piece like I do. So definitely One Piece Film Gold. If I were to say a negative, basically 2 things. A fan service kind of film where there's certain cameos here or there from certain characters that come like maybe a second or 2, and if they do come, they're not really much significance to the plot. And 2, not really much to say like a standalone product for anybody who isn't already a fan of these characters to begin with. And 2, basically it was kind of short, like much shorter compared to how I would expect for an anime film itself. But overall, One Piece Film Gold, as a One Piece fan, I definitely enjoyed. Definitely not as better as, say, One Piece Film Strong World, but definitely I liked and enjoyed more than One Piece Film C. So One Piece Film Gold definitely may release sometime maybe April, May, or June of this year for Blu-ray, DVD, or digital HD. So I do recommend getting it if you haven't seen it already in English or Japanese to support the official release. Ocean's Wave, a television animated film produced by Studio Ghibli during the early to mid-90s, is one of the most underrated films in their catalog next to Grave of the Fireflies. Basically, the gist of the plot is sort of like a love triangle between the main character, Taku, and his rival/friend that he meets throughout middle school, and kind of like on and off again with their friendship, Yutaka, basically from a girl moving from her mother from Tokyo to one of the countrysides of the setting of the film, Rikuko. And on and off again through these chain of events, young love or youth life comes into play out of a series of events throughout the film itself. And there's certain gists or bits that wouldn't sound right if, let's say, Disney dubbed the film back in the day, which probably the reason why it didn't get a release along with many of the other Ghibli films. But overall, G-Kids did a fantastic job with the 4K remastering and a superb soundtrack, which makes a very nostalgic trip back to the 90s itself. So overall, Ocean's Wave, if you can get the chance to maybe find it showing along with other Studio Ghibli films in the Alamo Drafthouse theaters that are across the country, I definitely implore so, especially if you've not seen the film and you want to see an official, beautifully 4K done remaster for a film. Ocean's Wave, definitely an underrated Studio Ghibli film next to Grave of the Fireflies. Sailor Moon R, the movie, just like every other Sailor Moon movie, is basically a fan service movie and kind of short in the runtime. Basically, I think around the 60-minute mark, which of course, when seeing the film in the Village Cinema, they showed a short, which I think was 15 minutes, called the Makeup Sailor Soldiers, where basically Usagi and Chibiusa or Ursa, whatever the fuck her name was, basically them and two other girls basically recap every single Sailor Guardian here or there. Basically, the whole short is basically to pad the film's runtime, which is a pretty short movie, and I can condense it being that Mamoru, when he was a small child, he meets this alien-like creature named Fiora, who, of course, was voiced brilliantly by Benjamin Diskin. And of course, the whole thing is sort of a tragic play where Fiora is controlled by this evil flower alien from another planet or an asteroid, and basically corrupts his own thoughts to say that Mamoru, who is a tuxedo guy, basically changes the whole thing and kind of say that, oh no, Mamoru, he screwed me over. I'm gonna get him and his girl, you know, etc., etc. And that's the whole gist of it. It has some brilliant 90s animation, of course, from the Sailor Moon property back in the day. And there's nothing much to say. It's a pretty short movie. It was pretty fun to go in a Sunday viewing for the film with a lot of people. Like it was a packed Sunday showing to see that film, and it was pretty cool. And of course, during my theater experience, I got, I think, maybe postcards and a sweet black envelope by Vince Media and Toei Animation, and of course an advertisement for the film itself. And of course, you can definitely pre-order the movie itself, its Blu-ray and DVD release on April 2017. Yu-Gi-Oh! The Darkside of Dimensions has to be one of the best Yu-Gi-Oh! Films within the entire franchise. And I can say that for certain because, thanks to the consultants with the actual creator of the franchise itself, Kazuki Takahashi, Yu-Gi-Oh! The Darkside of Dimension feels like a great epilogue to the Yu-Gi-Oh! Manga and Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime, Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Monsters. And I can say that for certain because as somebody who was so psyched to see this film, I actually paid for an Uber ride to get to the movie theater, which was the Village Cinema, and I was the first in line. Like, I dealt for like an hour and a half of actually trying to get the Obelix card, which of course, a free Yu-Gi-Oh card for theater distribution, which of course, I got 2 cards of Obelix the Tormentor, the same one, which Obelix by his design, the Egyptian design by Kazuki Takahashi, oh no, not Kazuki Takahashi, because that's the one that I got over here, is definitely really swell. It's a gold card, and it's sprinkled with a lot of glitter, which of course, I don't think the video does it justice, but if you actually have the card like I do, it really does glitter. And of course, a second copy in its original packaging, which I'm keeping until the day I die. Or maybe financial situation comes and I have to sell this for God knows how much on eBay. Who knows? But definitely, Yu-Gi-Oh! The Darkside of Dimensions was a great time to be a Yu-Gi-Oh! Fan. And it did get me to actually buy Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards. And it's the last time I actually bought a Yu-Gi-Oh! Card was during the 5Ds era, which was early 5Ds, where I just could not get into the synchro summoning at all. But yeah, I bought a pack of Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards. And of course, you might have seen the Yu-Gi-Oh! Box right here, which of course, I can't really show you the details until the February Gaming Pickups Plus video, but definitely it was fun. But anyhow, I'm going ahead of myself. So Yu-Gi-Oh! The Darkside of Dimensions is an epilogue after the Yu-Gi-Oh! Manga and the Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime, where basically Seto Kaiba, who can't let go of the past, he can't let go of the fact that Yama Yugi, or Tim, the Pharaoh, has basically left this world, has left Yugi and everybody else, and just wants to prove that he is the best duelist in the world. So with all the money, the resources, and the technology that he has, which of course, the time span from the end of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Manga and anime to Darkside of Dimensions is like 3 months apart. And in those 3 months apart, we have virtual reality headsets, Solid Vision, which was debuted in Yu-Gi-Oh! Zell, and Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc 5, or which series it was. Flip phones, the smartphones, and all this other modern tech that we use in our modern day lives basically is shown within the Darkside of Dimensions, which of course you don't really think until you see the timeline of the Yu-Gi-Oh series itself. But anyhow, I'm getting ahead of myself in the plot. So basically, within the side plot is another main character, another main antagonist, which I kind of forgot the name because it's not really that memorable. But he is an obstacle between Seto Kaiba and Yugi in the way, and it revolves around Shadi, the priest himself, who basically appeared during the Yu-Gi-Oh! Duelist timeline, at least I'm talking about in the manga. And basically another power beyond the mystical Egyptian powers of that Yami Yugi and Yami Bakura had itself. And, you know, it's Yu-Gi-Oh! They play their duels, they play their cards, and, you know, just like with modern Yu-Gi-Oh! Where basically they try to summon a bunch of monsters in one turn to advance the duels much quicker, the main antagonist of the film has a strategy of, like, cards where basically it's sort of like a shield. He doesn't take that much damage, and of course, he summons a bunch of monsters in one turn here or there and here or there. And over the course of the film itself, Seto and Yugi duel each other. And towards the end of the film, it was spectacular. That's all I can say. I'm not spoiling if you have not seen the film yet, but definitely it was really good. Now, of course, the English adaptation that was provided by 4K Media, which is 4Kids, but under Konami's leadership, definitely has the same tendency of the original Yu-Gi-Oh! English adaptation, where they added in some jokes here or there, and probably played for laughs out of the fact that Kaiba is an egotist, who basically wastes all his money and resources for somebody who basically has, you know, left this world, etc., etc., which of course I doubt the Japanese version plays to that a lot, but the English one definitely is for people who have grown up with the Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime like I do, to actually appreciate the adaptation. And of course, it's not terrible. Like, the jokes aren't that in your face like the previous Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime English adaptations. But overall, I do hope that at least in the home video release on Blu-ray and DVD, just like with Yu-Gi-Oh! Bonds Beyond Time, that we get a Japanese audio and a separate script to go along with it, because I would really love to see the movie multiple times after seeing the Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime multiple times. Which, of course, I'm still waiting for fucking 4K Media to finish Battle City in Crunchyroll, because that's something. But overall, Yu-Gi-Oh! The Darkside of Dimensions, it was a fun time to see as a Yu-Gi-Oh! Fan. Definitely reinvigorated my love for the brand itself, because it was evolved by Kazuki Takahashi. And, yeah, now I'm back to collecting Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards. That's something. So overall, those are my 4 short anime reviews talking about One Piece Film Gold, Studio Ghibli's Ocean's Wave, Sailor Moon R the movie, and Yu-Gi-Oh! The Darkside of Dimensions. I hope you can find these movies shown in your local theater somewhere, like in Fandango.com or any other ticket selling website itself, or basically support the official release by buying the Blu-ray, DVD, or digital HD versions. Because definitely, with anime, support is all that needs to be. So anyhow, this is Battlefield Joe 97. Catch you guys later.